No, if it's Yan. It's my husband. But he never bring then then I really start this tripod. I just put on my lap. So actually it's a lot of rental. Okay, on.
Okay, wait, can I watch my face?
Oh, okay, so...
Yeah, so just my voice for today.
Oh, okay, then I just...
Yeah, okay, so give me 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, this is Happy TV reporting from Toa Payoh Stadium where the PAP rally is being held. There are about 300 people here and there is a buzz in the air where the people are waiting for the candidates to be on stage. If you do not know, this afternoon the PAP held a lunch rally in the CBD area and this is but one of the 7 rallies that the PAP is holding today. So stay tuned for more.
I only speak yesterday. Oh, lucky I only buy one. Oh,
It's not money.
oh, you know they got water.
Yeah. Like market, yeah.
When that day, my husband do the PAP one, he say they don't go New Year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm very surprised that they never did.
Oh, yeah. Then you say what? What's nobody jaga?
Just walk like, you know,
Yeah. Because normally got people jaga at the front there. They also this night That's not early at night, right?
I wanted to buy like rice.
I'm very troublesome. But for you, okay lah. You PAP! I think they will do it on. They like just all one person shout and everybody shout. Bye. What? On the board?
I mean, yes lah, but
real life pun lah.
real life they like some
So you stay where? Oh, yeah lah. Yeah, nothing to take also. We haven't start lah. I haven't start. I want to focus there for what? Save my bracelet. I never focus on the camera. That's a thunder. Draw yourself, I think. I am taking this decision not today
Good evening, residents, friends, PAP supporters, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Singaporeans. On behalf of the People's Action Party and our Bishan-Toa PAYOH GRC team, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you. PAP 所有居民、人民行动党的支持者。所有的先生女士们，在这里我仅代表人民行动党以及璧山大巴窑集选区的团队，跟大家说声晚上好。Para penduduk Bishan-Toa PAYOH GRC, selamat petang. Para tetamu, para penyokong Parti Tindakan Rakyat, bagi pihak pasukan Bishan-Toa PAYOH GRC Bishan-Toa PAYOH ini, kami menjemput anda pada malam ini ke rapat umum PAP. And we will be your MCs for tonight. 我的名字是汉文，当然在我身边的是 Mr. Zainuddin。我们将会是你们今晚的司仪，希望大家能够给我们最热烈的支持以及掌声，好不好 ？Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our heart for joining us in tonight's rally. Tonight, altogether, we will have 8 speeches. Besides the speeches in English, we will have speeches in Malay, Mandarin, Hokkien, and Cantonese. 今晚呢，将会有一场非常热烈的这个讨论，将会有8组人马在这里为大家讲解，以广东话、福建话、华语，还有当然最重要的英语为大家讲解。And you know we are encouraged by your support during our walkabouts. It motivates us to work even harder for you. And since the last GE, the PAP team has delivered on its promises. Yes, we, the PAP, have brought you many projects such as the lift upgrading, covered walkways, and developed more green spaces such as the Bishan Amokyo Park and the Sensory Park. And we will add more than 100 fitness corners all around the GRC. And soon you will find one such fitness station within a 10-minute walk from your home. All in all, there are 250 projects done, and all of these at a value of more than $27 million. And we also gave out bursaries and scholarships to more than 2,600 students. 这就是我们的助学金以及奖学金，已经有2600名的这个受惠的朋友。Kita telah memberikan juga beasiswa dan bantuan kepada pelajar-pelajar di Bishan-Toa PAYOH. Lebih daripada 2,600 pelajar telah menerima bantuan. We also help 16,000 needy families through various schemes and more. 是的，当然， 前前后后呢有16200多户的这个需要的家庭得到援助，这就是行动党这一路来的这个党基。
Tonight, you will hear firsthand from the team that will take you forward. Bishan-Toa PAYOH GRC. The rally will start shortly, and we will invite the speakers up on stage soon.
我们的群众大会即将要开始了，所以请你们稍后以最热烈、最大声的这个尖叫以及掌声来欢迎我们的准候选人。
Are you ready to sit down?
你们还有准备？
First, we would like to invite Mr. Wong Wing.
欢迎翁广荣先生，
Mr. Kumar.
以及哈利古马先生，
Mr. Wong Josephine.
以及我们的黄江成先生。Let's now invite our 5 candidates for GE2015 in Bishan-Toa PAYOH GRC. First up, Mr. Chun Tan, 许方达先生，
Mr. Josephine.
钟其雄先生，
Mr. Sept
安迪先生，
Mrs. Josephine
以及我们的杨碧明女士，
Dr. Ang Han.
还有我们的黄永红医生，掌声再热烈一点。
The Merchant Association in Bishan-Toa PAYOH GRC would like to express their support to our 5 candidates. We welcome the Merchant Association.
当然，现在呢，我们有请我们的商联会上台，为我们的准候选人呢致上我们的这个花环。谢谢我们的商联会的代表。
A round of applause for all our speakers.
再一次以最热烈的掌声给予我们的团队。你们准备好了没有？
Adakah anda bersedia? Anda bersedia untuk mereka?
准备好了，我们现在开始。
The first speaker is Mr. Wong Wing, who has been an active councillor with the CDC for more than 5 years. He is also the chairman of the Adventist Home at Toa Payoh Block 15995 and vice chairman of Bishan North CCC. Mr. Wong, please.
让我们有请温广荣先生为大家致辞。
Thank you, Zai. Thank you, Howard. My fellow Singaporeans, a very good evening to all of you. I'm very humbled to stand before you this evening to share my reflections as we will cast our votes in 3 days' time to select our next set of members of parliament. I will first say a few words in English and then in Cantonese. I volunteer for a few charities and I can see firsthand the PAP government at work in caring for our elderly. Let me tell you a story. In one of the studio apartment blocks that I volunteer at, there lived a 90-year-old Chinese lady by the name of Madam Lo. Madam Lo has got children and grandchildren, but she chooses to stay by herself. One day, she came to see me and she said, I have a toothache, 我牙痛啊. So we recommended to her the dentist nearby, and Madam Lo came back beaming. Why was Madam Lo beaming when she came back to her home? She said, you recommended me not just a friendly dentist, but because of the Pioneer Generation card. Yeah! What do you say to this card? It is such a wonderful card that Madam Lo said that she had such good dental treatment, not only because the dentist is friendly, but because she had it for free. In fact, Madam Lo said that for the last 25 years, she has not seen a dentist. But thanks to the Pioneer Generation card, she was able to see a dentist, recommend her children, recommend her neighbors, and recommend her friends who are also Pioneer Generation card holders to use this card that the PAP government has given to all our deserving pioneers.
Yeah! PAP! PAP!
I will now say a few words in Cantonese. 今晚我哋大家一同喺一度，係可以聽我哋人民行動黨點解成為下一任嘅政府，點樣帶領我哋去下一步成為新加坡社會嘅一份子。我本人係幫助好多老人家嘅慈善會。在其中一座呢個小型公寓嘅時候，我見到一個老婆婆，佢嘅名係叫做陸惠芳女士。陸女士今年90歲，但係佢一日嚟到辦公室嘅時候，佢話佢有牙痛啊。咁我哋就介紹佢俾鄰里嘅一個牙醫。當陸女士翻嚟嘅時候，佢春風滿面，佢話呢個牙醫唔但止好，但係呢，因為佢有用呢個建國一代嘅卡片，所以佢所有嘅牙醫嘅檢查完全都係免費嘅。呢個就係我哋人民行動黨政府所為老人家做出嘅貢獻，你哋同意嗎？在近來幾日，我哋聽到好多聲音，話可能要多啲反對嘅聲音喺國會裏邊先比較精彩，先比較有意義。但係我實在咁問你，其實我哋人民行動黨為新加坡、為社會所做出嘅貢獻，係咪大家都係有眼可以睇得到嘅？我俾你講一個歷史，我哋在新明路有一個印度同胞，佢今年47歲，佢嘅太太忽然間要翻去嘅祖家2個星期。咁當個時候呢，我哋楊麗明女士就係 Josephine 就話：你得唔得安排佢嚟我哋大排195嘅安老院老人院嚟住2個星期？咁我就同楊麗明女士話冇問題，包喺我身上。呢個呢，就係我哋人民行動黨照顧老人家嘅心態，啱唔啱？好嘢！好嘢！好嘢！當時楊偉文女士唔但止話你要好好照顧佢，佢仲同我講你一定要照顧到佢有印度餐食。咁樣在嗰2個星期內，我哋呢個安老院呢，就俾大家安排咗有印度煎餅 Roti Prata。咁甚至所有嘅安老院嘅居民都係豐衣足食。呢個係感謝我哋人民行動黨政府對我哋所有新加坡公民所做出嘅貢獻。好嘢！所以今晚 我要呼籲大家，你我同心，為國為民。我哋嘅政府係一個講得到、做得到嘅政府，啱唔啱啊？我哋嘅政府唔係會口花花，係一個有碗講碗、有碟講碟，同大家一齊同撈同煲嘅政府，啱唔啱？所以請支持我哋人民行動黨璧山大花窯選區嘅所有嘅候選人，支持人民行動黨，多謝大家。
Thank you, Mr. Wong, for his heartfelt speech in Cantonese and English. Next up, give your biggest applause to Mr. Hari Kumar. Our next speaker, Mr. Hari Kumar Nair, became MP of Bishan-Toa GRC in 2006. He is a Toa Payoh boy and he has promised to continue helping the team here, even when he's no longer an MP. Mr. Nair, please. Round of applause for Mr. Nair once again.
Selamat petang. Waalaikum. 大家晚上好. Good evening, good evening. Thank you for coming out despite the haze. We are very grateful for your attendance. I would first like to thank all residents of Bishan-Toa for the support you have shown me in the last 10 years. It was an honor and privilege serving you. I am grateful for the journey we took together and the many friendships we formed along the way. Now it is my honor and privilege to stand here to support Eng Hen, Joe, Hong Tak, Andy, Ki Hyong, the PAP team for Bishan-Toa GRC. While I'm not a candidate this time, I've been helping out in the campaign, so I've been following the candidates look down on the town council. They say that by putting MPs in charge of town council, you are making them estate managers. And this is somehow beneath the work of an MP. Either they don't know what they're talking about, or they don't want difficult responsibilities. Now let me explain why. Running a town council is like running a local government, a mini government. Residents pay taxes in the form of SNCC, your service and conservancy charges, and it is the job of the MPs running your town council to safeguard those funds, work out how best to spend it to maintain the estate, and to set aside enough, and this is important, set aside enough in the reserves for future works. And that is not an easy task, because different residents have different ideas on what is important for the estate. More parks, more linkways, more drop-off points. And your MPs have to work with residents with different and sometimes conflicting needs. I was the chairman of the Bishan-Toa Town Council for the last 4 years, and as vice chairman in the previous term for the last 5 years. In Bishan-Toa, we manage our own town council. We don't engage a managing agent. So the MPs have a more direct say in how this estate is run. So let me give you a few examples. A few years ago, I had to decide whether to build a park in a precinct. So I did a survey. I asked the residents whether they wanted it. 90% of the residents who responded said, yes, we want a park. But 50% of the residents in the block next to the park said they were against it. A couple of years ago, I had to decide whether to allow a childcare center to be built in one of the void decks. Now, we have a shortage of childcare centers, not just in Bishan-Toa, but around Singapore. And there are many young parents with great difficulties finding childcare places, and we are doing our best to help them. But we set up the childcare center to meet a community need, for the good of the community. And today the park is very popular with the young and the old, and the childcare center is oversubscribed. But that does not mean that everyone was happy with the outcome. When we run a town council, we are regularly confronted by such problems. We have to manage a budget, and that means deciding which request happy and one group unhappy. Sometimes the simplest thing to do is to play safe and do nothing, but we will not be serving the interests of residents and not the interests of the community. So we have to listen, we have to adjust, we have to explain, we have to persuade. And we have to accept that sometimes we cannot make everyone happy all the time. Now that is very different from being in opposition in parliament. There, if something goes wrong, they can blame the government. And if something goes right, they can take credit for themselves. And they often do that. They can make grand speeches on popular issues, but keep very quiet when it comes to difficult issues. And they always do that. They can propose 1,001 ways to spend your money, because it is not their responsibility to raise the money and to protect the reserves for our children. And they always do that. But when you run a town council, the buck stops with you. You have to make decisions which directly impact your residents' lives. You have to come up with plans and deliver on them. You have to ensure that the budget is balanced, your accounts are proper, and the money is properly spent. You cannot run away from making difficult decisions that will disappoint some people. You have to take responsibility when something goes wrong. And every 5 years or so, you have to present a report card to your residents and demonstrate how you have improved their lives. So this is not a game. This is not estate management. This is about governance and politics. It's about directly impacting the lives of residents and being accountable to them. We cannot discharge our responsibilities with creative accounting, by making speeches, or by blaming others. If we fail, we downgrade our residents' environment and even put them at risk. This is a serious matter with serious consequences, and we cannot get it wrong. That is why some opposition members say, let the HDB take over, let them take the job back. They know that the job requires both the heart to serve and the head to get things done right. It requires experience and good judgment. So they prefer someone else does the job, so that there's always someone else to blame when something goes wrong. We don't agree. Governing is not a burden. It is a privilege and an opportunity. It's an opportunity to connect directly with residents, solve real problems, and make a real difference in their lives. So how have we performed? Let's look back last 10 years and let me give you some facts. In MND's half-yearly assessments, they assess town councils every 6 months. Bishan-Toa Payoh consistently achieves the best grade of green for all 5 critical areas. Consistently. Very few town councils can achieve that. So cleanliness, maintenance, lift operations, arrears management, financial integrity, consistently. Our cost of running the town council is below the national average because we are very careful with your money. Our reserves, and this is important, our reserves is among the highest in Singapore. And this means we are better placed to meet important long-term obligations, like replacing your lifts, which is critical in any estate. Our careful management has allowed us to do things for residents which others cannot. So let me give you 3. We pick the cleanest block in our estates every quarter and reward residents with a 50% rebate on their S&CC charges. And we also give cash prizes to the cleaners, to the honest, hard-working cleaners, because they do an important job as well. Second, we repaint and we refurbish our blocks once every 5 or 5.5 years. The national standard is 7 years. We do it 5.5 years. We then work to teams under professional. All these things influence things good some year and in terms of Bishan-Toa them and the make Bishan eat your and please
you especially for coming. I know what we say from here. The place brings 05 01A. This is very special. 50th anniversary. Long and not. We are all retain our values, rule of law, and commitment. Other people have very tired to progressive topic who are very proud to be government. I can name you quite a through between 85 and we have the pioneer of and run carry on do the right thing. 你关要去我们如说我们的手法 ，you 他们这就是小红他的一和其他在中国是不大很受我们要对政府，而且决定你们的为我们一个比赛带头很多活，去年。
And great organizations in the who have helped in terms of ready for school, able to eat school. His legal you and our almost 50 years anak ini Singapura masih TOA PAYOH dan juga menerima beliau telah bertemu di London untuk anda gagakan dan katakan yang memanfaatkan ingin terus
PAYOH GRC since 2006. She is married with 3 teenage children. I bring you Mrs. Here, please.
Selamat malam. Malam. 大家晚上好。工会的兄弟姐妹、各位居民、各位朋友，上个星期提名日的时候，有几位朋友很好心、很紧张，看到我们的竞选海报，马上发简讯给我，他们说：“杨议员、立明，你的这个海报印错了。”我说：“什么事情？”他说：“你不是杨立明吗？为什么是 Josephine 丢？为什么不是 Josephine 有？”哎呀，各位朋友，这个答案很简单，因为我姓杨，其实我叫 Josephine Yong， 但是我要从政之前，我征求我父亲的同意，我把它改成 Josephine 丢，因为我先生他是福建人，一赛丢，他姓张，所以我是 Mrs. Josephine 丢，要不然有一天人家称呼他 Mr. Yong 怎么办？啊，不好了，我很传统啦，我不大喜欢这样子，因此我是 Josephine 丢，因为是夫姓。那么既然我家公家婆是福建人，我和他们接触多了，自然也学会讲一些福建话。我的福建话虽然还不是太好，请大家还多原谅。不过大选是国家的大事，重要大事，我今晚要尝试以福建话和在座的安哥、安弟、阿公、阿嬷直接沟通。我知道有一些年轻的朋友们，你们可能听不懂福建话，不要担心，我会在网上我的 Facebook 上载这段话，但是你最起码要懂得读华语哦。安哥、安弟、阿公、阿嬷，食饱未？大家好。大选来了。来了。恁可能在想哦， 你这张选票是爱投互 PAP 好，还是投互反对党好？这个问题吼是真重要吼。我觉得咧，你会使有3个考虑。第一个考虑，反对党讲，因爱代表恁，为恁讲话，我就觉得有淡薄奇怪，趣味啦。几十年来，因人也无伫扫，也是无人替恁讲话，咱的地方有啥物可能？年年翻新，年年进步，对无？反对党伊也无伫扫，也是无人替恁讲话，安怎咱行到倒落就看到新的电梯，互咱的阿公阿嬷出入较方便，对无？反对党也无伫扫，也是无人替恁讲话，我哪会有这个建国配套？叶李国煌甲刘玲玲，伊人高台表演迄阵，伊阁会甲你解释这个配套的好处，对无？是谁为恁讲话？对啦，强啦，也就是 PAP 的议员咯。我毋是讲反对党的人是歹人吼，但是你想，政府也是爱了解你有啥物需要。你讲政府是直接来问你，还是去问反对党？问我。较好是真简单啊，就是来问你吗？去问反对党做啥物咧？了时间对无？对啦。伊人讲为恁讲话，但是吼真可笑。安尼多年来吼，我阁无听过伊人向政府讲啥物好主意。比如讲，咱的电梯翻新、建国配套、乐龄补助，啥物项吼政策，都毋是反对党讲出来的吼。所以恁讲，你的选票是投 PAP 好，还是投反对党好？这是第一吼，第一个考虑，第二个考虑，是是恁有代志爱找议员斗骹手。你决定是找 PAP 的议员好，还是找反对党的议员好咧？有一个真实的代志，我甲你讲，我逐摆嘛是爱拜二每是爱见见民众，对无？有几摆吼，有北斗的居民来找我就问你徛倒落，你讲我徛后港，你讲我徛阿朱尼。我讲，你这款你互我真歹做咧！你徛后港那个阿朱尼，你第三找我做啥物？新加坡人。是我替你做代志，咱的居民硬是讲，哇，你款吼无公平诶！你互我人等安尼久，伊毋是徛咱这斗的人，所以我甲伊讲，我好心甲伊讲，无安尼款，你的议员本白快，袂歹啦，你去找伊。伊甲我讲啊，毋是我家己讲的吼，伊讲的，找人无用。伊无斗无手，袂使斗骹手的。就是我讲的啊，是人讲的。老实讲一句吼，咱不要讲大话。有的代志是真歹做的。居民找我，有可能我也是无法度吼。但是恁得想，也是 PAP 的 MP。阮无办法去解决，你想反对党的议员会使解决无？你投票互伊，是毋是淡薄沙样？所以恁讲，你的选票是投互 PAP 好，还是投互反对党好？第二吼，第三个考虑。你人找议员，甲你写批，互政府部门，有啥物要求啦？ 你讲啊，这个会吼是 PAP 写的较有力，还是反对党写的较有力？我讲再讲一摆，我唔是讲反对党的意愿无好吼。不过，伊若有可能是 PAP 的意愿对政府部门、对部门、对政策，比阮人更较清楚无？就俺刚刚你爱去看罗军，网友红是罗军吼。你也是找有经验的，还是找无经验的好？所以恁讲，这个票是投互 PAP 好，还是投互反对党好？到位阿哥、阿弟、阿公、阿妈，我甲你讲 ，PAP 是老字号，对无？老字号，几十年来。从咱李光耀先生开始，老老实实为你打拼。咱的建国一代，伊人真艰苦，才有今日的新加坡。咱一代有责任，老老实实。叫这个好好的新加坡传下一代，对无？阮的希望，甲恁的希望是相像的。阮的希望，甲恁的希望，唔是讲咱这代有好日子过就够了，是希望世世代代咱的新加坡人本有好日子过，对无？你相信这个？无别人比 PAP 更较骨力。都听得懂吗？好，新加坡有这么多会讲福建话的人，我们华人说路遥知马力，下一句怎么讲？聪明，我们的居民都是聪明的，日久见人心。人民行动党是什么样的马？是好马。人民行动党的心永远向着您，请投人民行动党一票。Dear friends, now switch to channel 5. Not channel 8. Or just now that one, not channel 8. Dialect channel. Then channel 8. Now channel 5. Dear friends, every election, the opposition tells Singaporeans, they tell Singaporeans how bad Singapore is. They tell you, we have to change. Of course we have to change. If we do not change, how can we survive in a changing world? And if Singapore hasn't been changing and adapting in the last 50 years, how can we be here today celebrating SG50 as a successful, independent country? 10, 20 years maybe, but certainly not 50 years. In fact, Singaporeans and the PAP government had together brought about one transformation after another, decade after decade. Going forward, we have to ask, who will work with Singaporeans to keep changing, to keep reinventing, and keep making our way in an uncertain world? War, terrorism, global warming, these are not alien words, but part of teenagers' vocabulary every day. This is the world today. We have to ask, what changes do we need to survive in this new world? We have to ask, are these changes going to work for Singaporeans or against us? We have to ask, 50 years from now, will we see a stronger and better Singapore, or a decline from a shining red dot to a normal black dot to a fading grey dot? We have to ask at SG100, when you and I may long be gone, will our children, grandchildren, some of them are here today, will they be able to hold their heads high in the world? Will they, carrying their red passport, be accepted everywhere without question? Will Singapore still be one of the most special places in the world? My dear friends, the opposition tells you the PAP is incapable of changing Singapore for the better. They forget to mention that we together started the HDB housing program, built schools, built hospitals. We together make Changi Airport and PSA world class. We together kept each other from harm through formidable defense capabilities. The opposition tells you PAP has no heart. They forget to mention that together with thousands of Singaporeans, we made the Pioneer Generation package accessible. We introduced MediFund. We introduced the ComCare program, the Silver Support, and thousands of scholarships and bursaries for citizens, and supported students of all abilities through schools like Pathlight, School of the Arts, and Sports School. How do you win so many medals at the SEA Games? Our hearts are strong and our dreams are big. But the opposition points out the shortcomings about everything in Singapore. Everything is not so good one. You know, they brush over our constraints and the difficult decisions we have to make. They try to sell you an easy lie. Fellow Singaporeans, you be the judge of the opposition and the PAP. I cannot tell you how to think, but I have a simple suggestion for you to think about. Suppose you have built a house with the help of an architect and lived in it for 50 years. Now, with children and grandchildren and different needs, you want to modify the house to improve it. There are some things you want to add, extra rooms, for example, and there are some others you want to replace. The kitchen, the toilets, you know, not so good already. To make these changes, you again need the help of an architect. But the original architect and his team have passed away. The firm, the architectural firm, is still there. It's a different team, but they have worked with the original team and were coached and mentored by them for many years. They have knowledge of how the house was built up in the first place. And each time there was a problem or you wanted something changed, you asked them to come back and help improve it. As a result, after 50 years, and even after repairs, the house is structurally sound and still a safe home for you. This is your house, your one and only home. Your home, and home to your children and grandchildren. Who would you get to help improve it? Who can you trust with something so precious? You will trust it to the people who helped to build it in the first place and whom you have turned to each time there was trouble? Or you want to trust it to people who have no idea how to build a house in the first place? Who can better help you improve your house? Now, wait a minute. Some of you, I hear some of you saying, well, there is no risk, no gain. We have to try. I say to you, how much risk for how much gain? Singapore is a precious jewel in your hands. Could you lose it? Is the road ahead so easy to navigate? If that is so, why are larger countries, older democracies, failing so obviously? The people and their leaders worried and so uncertain about what to do next. The opposition wants to tear your house down. What will they rebuild? A castle in the air. They won't dare to tell you that's what they want to do. They know it will scare you. So they say, this house now is terrible. Very, very lousy. Here no good. There even worse. But they will keep most of it. Just make improvements. The PAP simply refuses to make. Really? Or is the real truth that there's real risk and considerable danger to you and your children living in the house if you change without knowing how or why or where? They will turn your house into a house of cards. A house of cards. You know what is a house of cards? It crumbles and it falls. They will weaken its foundation so that it will not last beyond your generation. A house that your children and grandchildren will eventually say, sorry, this was home, but it is no longer safe. If you put them in charge, and you have every right to do so, life may go on for a good 5 to 10 years without much problems. Even if things get worse, we know what they will say. They will simply say, hand over issues. We're learning. You let somebody learn an experiment on your house, your one and only home. 1-2 elections, we will really struggle. We will struggle to recover, and look how many countries in the world there are today struggling to cope. Countries that are larger, richer, more established than we are. If anyone thinks we have the time and the space to recover, let's just take a look around the world and ask ourselves, honestly, really, who in the world owes us a living that we can put so much at risk?
Don't trust the opposition!
Dear friends, for 50 years the PAP has kept faith with you. Will it be right about everything, always? Of course not. But you and the PAP together, we can and will be mostly right about most things. Together, we have built a home, a most solid house for our families. We have built it for you, with you, for Singapore. We have walked this journey and built our home together. Let us work together to make this a better house for our future. There is so much potential and so much risk. Don't let anyone take down Bishan-Toa or tear our home apart or turn it into a house of cards. Vote for the people you can trust. Vote for the team you can count on. Say this after me. Vote for PAP. TOA PAP. Singapore. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Q. What a wonderful. Roll and please, Mr. Q. Our next speaker has been described as tall, dark, and handsome. Of course, he's none other than our Minister Dr. Ng Hen, Defense Minister, and MP for Bishan-Toa GRC for more than 14 years. Minister, please.
亲爱的选民、第三大派有居民、女士们、先生们，大家晚上好。刚才你刚听到杨黎明的演讲，好不好？他的福建话好办。你们没有知道，他是我们人民行动党的秘密武器，对反对党他们要注意。2016年的大选快近尾声了，这次呢，一共有9个政党参选，很多居民我们访问那个时候跟我们讲，很兴奋。当我认为热量很大，当光太少。我担心呢，是许多居民被言论搞乱了，混淆不清。选举的结束后呢，新加坡是需要有能力的领导人来解决所有的问题和挑战，改善你们的生活，改善我的生活。还有没有好的领导人，我们的生活无法改善，新加坡也不能进步。所以呢，这9月11日，你们会做出选择，选出下一个5年为你们服务的某位议员，以及照顾这个事情的团队。选后呢，我们都希望我们的政府将在未来的5年继续领导新加坡的前进。如果候选人有很强的力量、很强的能力，他们当选后，当中有一些人会被邀请到政府中来服务，来领导这个国家，帮助我们解决许多困难。所以你们选的那个时候是认真的选择，直接影响你们的生活，包括你们的家人、你们这个城市，以及我们的国家的未来。我希望人民行动党继续为你们服务，我们尽力为你们的主屋争取。我们知道，对于多大数的居民呢，他们的家、他们的主屋来说，是他们最重要的资产，所以我们每年都会做这方面的工作，包括建设公园、健身角落、改良下车场等等。我们这样做呢，是提高你们的日常的生活水平，也特别对你们的有孩子的家庭，也保持你们这里的物价。现在呢，这个主屋在大柏油碧山呢是新加坡最高的，这个是因为我们每年从王根成部长1984年开始的， 是每年改善，每年进步。我们也有很多乐龄，所以要照顾他们，因为他们是我们的建国一代，建设了新加坡。所以呢，我们做了很多节目，很多对他们用处的，好像我们建了110个老年健身场，也是最重要的。我们承诺是照顾我们年轻人的教育，特别是来自贫困家庭的教育。过去4年，我们总共提了200万新元社区奖学金给我们的学生，这边200万。当我到社区访问，或者在市场上遇见了很多市民，他们都跟我们讲，这些计划让大家的生活更美好，这让我们感到欣慰。正如我那天音乐会上唱的《月亮代表我的心》，Uncle， 今晚不可以唱的，犯法的不可以。我不能没有你微笑。如果你的生活有幸福，我们也有幸福。所以在接下来的5年里呢，我们将继续一直在做我们的事情。我们将把每个区域的市政计划的做更好。如果你相信我们，信任我们，把投票给人民行动党，就像过去做的那样，我们会实现我们的承诺。这个大选呢，我有个非常强的团队。我今年50多岁，但是他这个4位呢，坐在我的后面呢，全部在40多岁的。他们有丰富的工作经验，勤奋努力，了解居民的需求，他们能做事，能够做出许多改善这个Bishan-Toa PAYOH和你的生活的事。我们诚恳的请你们再给我们机会，为你们服务在5年。谢谢。This election is coming to an end. GE2015. 9 political parties this time. I think probably a record for the recent years. It started with 10, actually. 10 political parties. But for this constituency, 你为什么笑啊？ For this constituency, 2 candidates from the DPP resigned to join SPP, so 9 political parties contesting this election under the SPP banner, which Mr. Chun leads. I respect Mr. Chun. He's a good friend, a good political colleague. And I sincerely wish Mr. Chun well. I know Mr. and Mrs. Chun well. We see each other in Parliament. And of course, Mr. Chun and I are the same school. So we are respectful of our opponents, and you make the choice. But during this last week or so, you say this, I say that, who confirm?
The people confirm.
Who to listen to? Voters get very confused. Whether confused or not, September 11, you will have to choose, right? If you tick 2 boxes, not counted. You can only tick one box on 9/11. And that cross that you do will decide the MP who takes care of your town and the government that will lead Singapore. It's a very important decision, one that's probably more important than most people think. We went around walking the MRT, you saw us, we start about 7, meet you, then we go house to house, then at evening when you come back we say hello again to MRT. And a few days ago, it was at Toa Payoh MRT, this young man, he was thinking in his 30s, was very worried. He had attended an opposition rally. He says, Dr. Ng, you are organizing secretary. How? I looked at him, he looked very worried. And I could see that he was very concerned. He was thinking to himself, what happens if on September 12th, suddenly you don't have a PAP government?
September 12th.
Think about it. You wake up, September 12th, there is no PAP government. Will you feel happy? No! Will you feel confident? No! Or will the Singapore dollar plunge like the dollar elsewhere? It's not a joke. It's no laughing matter. Most of you bought houses here when we go around. Toa Payoh was built in 1968. 他们跟我讲三房主是6200最早的。Earlier 6,200. You buy 1 year later 7,800 or something. It's gone up 50 times. You know. When I was young, the Singapore dollar, how much was the pound to the Singapore dollar? Can you remember? $8 1 pound. You go to UK, you cannot afford to eat. You just save. Australian dollar, how much? $3. You're younger than me, I think. $3. Right? There's no laughing matter. So it's a big decision. One that will set the direction for the future. Because no matter what it is, the vote is final. On September 12th, whatever it is, whatever the decision that all of us make together is the decision for Singapore. There is no turning back. All that we have built for 50 years doesn't matter when that decision is made. That was why this young man, when he talked to me, he asked me, how, Dr. Ng? So I looked at me and I said, how? I said, I think Singaporeans are more sensible than that. But I also know that there are some who are still deciding. Not only here in Bishan-Toa Payoh, but everywhere in Singapore. Because like you attending the rallies, they attend one rally. Some of them, by the way, are serial rally attenders. They attend rally after rally after rally. 免费嘛. I want to help both voters here as well as voters everywhere by making 3 points. First, something good has come out of the elections, whatever the result. Many problems have been brought up, whether it's population, the economy, education, housing, cost of living, or social support, number of foreign workers. These are problems that you face every day. Whoever points them out, don't scold that person. He's right to point it out. These are the problems that you face day to day, and we should listen and understand in detail what the problems you are. But because all these problems have been brought up, it shows that Singapore is maturing as a democracy. Because over the 9 days, I heard many views. Sometimes I cannot finish reading the newspaper. I said, wow, so much to read, give up. I wait for the summary. A lot of airing of views. You just count how many candidates, right? 9 parties, 89 constituencies, some 3-cornered 5. So at least 90 over candidates. How do we finish? And during any general election in any country, not only in Singapore, we all expect that the political opponents will try to score points. It's like football. I try to score a goal, you try to score one against me back. So some views are not really workable. They are very good liners. They are very good one-liners, make you angry, but not much use for government. But some are workable. Whether it comes from the people that we meet as we talk to them, or even from opposition candidates. Whatever the views, I did not sense any fear in any of the candidates. In fact, all our candidates of all political parties are speaking freely. Nobody says, I dare not speak. In fact, they speak so much until 10 o'clock, chop, they cannot speak anymore. By the way, we have to stop by 10 o'clock today. It's a rule, right? Cannot speak beyond 10 o'clock. I can speak, but no sound can come out. So we have listened very carefully. We take down all the views that we hear. After the election, when the dust settles, when the temperature comes down, Singapore will still need to be governed. Somebody has to govern Singapore. And I said, if on September 12, if it's not the PAP government, how will you feel? Will you feel very confident stepping out of your house? Or will you feel a sense of fear? A sense of dread? Will you look into the future with confidence? No. Will you believe that Bishan-Toa PAYOH will become better? No. Will you believe that your 5-year plans will materialize? No. I'm not giving you the answer, right? You are just answering me, right? And no, misi kaki lang ho. Singapore will still need to be governed. After the general election, our challenges will remain the same as before elections. Not only will the challenges remain, but even bigger problems are on our horizon. So I say, after the general election, time to put aside our differences, bringing as many ideas as we can, wherever they come from, so that we can lessen, if not solve, the problems that we've brought up. And I will address some of these problems that Singaporeans have told me as we walk about. We knew them, but they've given me more detail what the problems are. Something good has come out of the election. I see many younger Singaporeans in their 30 years old, 40 years old. Some are walking every day with me. They took leave. They are wonderful people. They are laupan. I don't know whether they tell a laupan what they are doing, but they are walking with me from 7 until 11 every day. I don't pay them, no, by the way. They do it out of passion. They do it out because they believe in Singapore. We see many of them in their 30s and 40s. I meet Singaporeans in the bus stops, in the market, who are worried, who ask me, what direction is Singapore taking? This is a good sign. I may not agree with all their views, because sometimes they talk, you know, when you're meeting MRT, got so many pass by, they want to talk policy or so I tell them, okay, we talk a few minutes, then after that, you know, we'll talk some more. But we have to engage them, because those in the 30s and 40s, those of you in the 30s and 40s are the ones that will take us to SG100. I won't be around. Some of them will be around. But I won't be around, so it will be those in their 30s and 40s. How many are 30 years old and 40 years old? Okay, we won't count it, huh? Take us to SG100. So after this election, I intend to continue speaking to these people that I've met, even some in the opposition parties, as long as they have good ideas. Because if it's good for Singapore, it's good for all of us. My second point, how do we deal with the problems that have been brought up during the elections? We have to deal with the problems as we have dealt with them before. You asked the older generation, Mr. Wong told you the difficulties in 1984. Are the problems more in the older generation or less? Are the problems for our children more or less? The truth is, every generation will have a problem. Every generation will have problems because perfection does not exist. 天堂可以. You live on earth, you get only to choose your problems, that's all. You will have problems. Whatever the issue, cost of living, wages, foreign labor, professional managers, executives, PMETs, we call it, university places. We deal with them as we have done before. We spell out clearly what is the problem. Ask us, what is the problem? We state the goal we all want to achieve. Because sometimes you state the problem, some people say, my housing price is too high. So we say, okay, we sell you low. But he said, he want to buy low, but I want to sell high. So you have to state the goal that all of us say, okay, this is the right goal that we want. And then we look at what we can do. We weigh what we have to trade off. We get the support of the majority of Singaporeans because no matter how good your solution, if you cannot get Singaporeans to support it, it's done. Cannot be done. And then make sure that the country can afford it. Make sure that our children don't get indebted. What did our founding generation do for us? They built up reserves and they gave us more than what they had. What must we do for the younger generation? We have to give them more than what we receive. That's the right way to run a country, to run a government. Not put debt on our children so that we blight their future, reduce their opportunities. This is how we settle issues for the past 50 years. And this is how we must treat the problems that have come up during the general election. I give you two simple examples. How we treated the problems in the past. You look at housing, look at around you. All around you, Ahur Road behind. Now the Ahur Road is ours, by the way. Bishan-Toa PAYOH. So I can point this side and say it's ours. You look around you, all the housing here. Mr. Wong says these were farms before. Some of you remember, I met an old couple, they were living in Bishan. Now they're living in Bishan flats, but before they were living in a farm in Bishan. So I said, 你有养鸡吗?有猪吗? They were rearing pigs and chicken. I said, wow, quite chubby, not bad, quite nice. But we had to resettle them and build public housing. Was it easy to do? The old MPs will tell you resettlement was a huge problem. We had to convince Singaporeans. They had to take sacrifices so that all of us, the next generation, can benefit. Today, that is why Bishan and Toa Payoh have been cleared. 80%, more than 80% live in public housing. And the same will happen for Bidadari near here. Who can remember what Bidadari was? By the way, half of Singapore was cemetery on. Bidadari was a cemetery. We had to clear it. It wasn't popular. It needed people to adjust to the lifestyle. There's always a trade-off. I'll give you another example, education. Bishan-Toa Payoh has some of the, every good school is a good school, but we have some of the best schools. CHIJ, first Toa Payoh, primary, Chun, Heng Catholic High, RIRGS. Right? But when we started out, we had to convince Singaporeans to move from their vernacular schools, they were being taught in Malay, Chinese, Tamil, to move to English teaching schools. It wasn't easy. 你们记得吗? Mr. Wong, when he was young, went to 2 schools every day. Really? He went to English morning, Chinese afternoon. Same lessons, I think. We solve our problems that we have as we have in the past. Not by shouting at you, shouting at me back, jeering. Not even by rallies, even as though it's as fun as it is. Or easy to put out slogans, easy to make people angry. Foreign labor, 6.9 million. Jobs for others, low wages, easy to say all that. Do you solve your problems? After you made everybody angry, are the problems solved? No. You solve problems by dealing with the reality squarely. You work with Singaporeans, listen and engage with them. So, after September 11, let me tell you that the problems that Singapore will face will still be there. The problems don't go away. In fact, they are already on us. The terrorism threat, ISIS, bombs that went off in Bangkok, Malaysia armed forces, they have armed forces soldiers who have gone to Iraq and Syria and they're coming back. Indonesia, 500 people radicalized that we know, they've gone to Iraq and Syria and are coming back. And they say, all those who have come back from both Malaysia and Indonesia, they want an Islamic caliphate in Southeast Asia. They are telling you, if I'm strong enough, I'm going to attack you in your homes. You can stop me, you try, but I will try harder. And if I'm a suicide bomber, who do you want to put up against me? You can decide to have a weak police force and an SAF to protect this against this. You try. And when you can't, who do you turn to? Easy to shout slogans. Easy to say, cut, 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 spend, spend, spend. But are you protecting your Singaporeans? Countries around us have become more nationalistic. It's their right to be. Indonesia says, I'm the biggest country in ASEAN. Saya abang. So you better behave lah, adik. When the haze comes, I only apologize if the 11 months you say thank you for the oxygen. Are you going to say thank you? If we don't have a strong SAF, you think you won't say thank you? From 2020, you have no new local workers. Think about it. Never happened in our modern history. I'm not talking about 50 years of history. I think I'm talking about 150 years of history. No new local workers. By 2030, nearly 1 million people above 65 years old. So I give you the example. As I said, its actual number is 900,000 people above 65 by 2030. So you divide over the 89 constituencies that are now, each constituency will have 10,000 people above 65. Each constituency has roughly about 100 blocks of flats and apartments. So each block will have 100 people above 65. Every block visit you go, you'll find 100 people over 65. And in that same block, only 200 to support them, because that's our dependency ratio. Who's going to take care of them? I don't say this to scare us, but you have to address these problems as one people, and I believe we can do it. When Singaporeans unite, nobody can stand against us. That's right. We did it against 9/11. We held the community together. Mr. Wong was largely responsible for holding us together. He was Deputy Prime Minister of MHA. MHA uncovered the GI plot. If a bomb had gone off, today we won't be here talking so easily. Because our race relations were fractured. We did it against the Bali bomb blast, against SARS, against the global financial crisis. My third point, we must believe in a better Singapore that we can build together. The opposition say, you have done such a bad job of Singapore, you should give it to us so that we can build it for the next 50 years. I wish I could try. I wish there were two Singapores. You take one, I take the other. After 50 years, we compare. There isn't two Singapores. There's only one Singapore. You fail, you fail. Not only can we overcome all our challenges, I think SG100, as Mr. Lee Kuan Yew said a few months before his death, when he was asked whether he believed in Singapore, he used these words: of course, even better. Even better. Do you believe that we can build a Singapore that's even better? Let me describe to you a Singapore that is even better. In the south, we're starting 中间啊这边，我们去南方先。South, the whole area will be transformed when the port relocates, because we're going to relocate it to Jurong. What you saw happen in Marina Bay will happen in front of Sentosa. Beautiful landscape, whole stretch for our children to enjoy. In the west, Jurong and Clementi are being transformed, already very vibrant, but the high-speed rail will transform it even more, and more lines are being added to the west now. In the east, you have the Jewel. Changi Airport will be expanded. Terminal 1, 2, 3 will be smaller than Terminal 4 and 5. Just imagine. When Paya Lebar relocates, the whole region in the northeast will be transformed. Aljunied, Tampines, Pasir Ris, Punggol. Even if they shout against us, we will still transform it and improve their lives. I was defense minister, I looked at it, I said, let's study a plan that we can move Paya Lebar Air Base to Changi and Tengah so that we can redevelop this place. We can do it and still be safe, we should do it. Never entered my mind that Aljunied was there. Doesn't matter. Singapore will still be here. And Singapore must be even better. In this region near you, something very exciting will happen. The whole sports complex. My direction gone already. The whole sports complex will be redeveloped. Bidadari, a town will spring up. You'll be able to connect greenery, cycling, ABC program, the waterways that you've seen in Bishan, Ang Mo Kio Park will also be extended elsewhere, and in the north, Sembawang, Woodlands, new towns across Singapore. This is a Singapore that's even better. The third generation leaders in government now have started these programs. But I will tell you honestly, it will have to be the fourth generation of leaders and Singaporeans who must complete it. At the same time, we must improve our local support and community building. We've started Workfare, PG package, MediShield Plus, Silver support, enhanced HDB grants, fresh start housing, all that we started in the last 2 terms. And we have to do more. I talked about what you told me were problems. Let me tell you what I think we need to do. First, those in the middle ages, 50 and 60s. I know you're worried. You're worried that if you lose your jobs when you're 50s and 60s, you find it very hard to find another job, right? You tell me, I've been looking. We have to work with employers and change this very, very short-sighted mindset. People in their 50s and 60s can be productive. We have to help our Singaporeans gain new skills so that they can be re-employed and work longer. The professionals and managers and executives in their 30s and 40s, what do they say? We must make sure that it is a Singaporean core that keeps our economy going. We need foreigners, but it is a Singaporean core. You, me. We are not asking for handouts or special privileges. Singaporeans don't need this. They are well-skilled, well-educated. They are in great demand everywhere. But companies, when they hire, must ensure that they have a Singaporean core of middle management. If they don't, what do? We send them Lim Swee Say. Lim Swee Say is last time Union Chief, before that EDB Chief, EDB. He's looking around for companies that don't understand our philosophy, and he's having a word with them. If the word doesn't do, if he talks to the CEO and the HR director, it doesn't help, Lim Swee Say will know what to do. I went on a walkabout. One lady told me that the company was doing this. So I said, you whisper in my ear, what is your company? She said, can. I said, can. I will tell Lim Swee Say what the company is. Young family with kids. We started priority housing so that you can live near your parents because you need them nearby because they take care of your children. We have to make childcare and preschool more affordable and more accessible. We have to ramp up mega facilities. Singles, those who are not married, we have to make sure they are treated fairly. It's a lifestyle option, but they should be treated fairly. We've started housing options for them. We should do more. Children and adults with special needs. Right? These are the problems that keep us awake at night. How do I make Singapore better? We think through them daily. I've not even mentioned security, economic restructuring, environmental issues, the haze. But to solve all these problems, to make your lives better, we need more capable ministers. We need more good MPs to help bully you. Why in the world would I want to bully you? If I bully you, you'll punish me back, right? Ridiculous argument. This is just an argument to get the opposition more seats. As PM says, vote PAP, make them work harder. I want to end in 5 minutes by telling you what we do for Bishan-Toa Payoh. So far, I've talked to the rest of Singapore. For Bishan-Toa Payoh, it's very easy. You know me 15 years. I make a pledge to Mr. Wong and his team. He served for 30 years. I say, when I'm leading this GRC, I make a pledge to you. I will continue your good work. So I brought in these 4. Josephine is the only, not, well, how to describe Josephine? The other three are the new. But they got longer legs than me. They can last 15 years, I think, at least. Because it will take that long. We will improve your town year by year. Whether the prices go up and down, the flats in Bishan-Toa Payoh will stay high, among the highest in Singapore. That's easy to do. Every year we will add something. Every year when people look at your houses, it says, okay, here is work, I pay 5,000, 10,000 more compared to other places. It's simple. We can manage our town council properly, we add. That's why we paint your blocks once in 5 years. You know that we do that. We built 114 elderly fitness parks. We built 3G parks. We built covered walkways. We just keep building until there's no more space to build. Last 4 years, we brought in more VWOs because our population is aging. So when we go house to house market visits, you say, these programs have helped you. We are very, very happy when we hear that, because I said this in my Chinese speech as I sang in the musical concert, our heart is with you. And if you smile, we smile. I can't smile without you. So in the next 5 years, we will just continue to do what we have been doing. If you believe in us, trust in us. You vote us as your MPs. If you don't, we take your decision as final. if you trust us, if you believe that we can continue to do as what we have been doing for the nearly 50 years that Toa Payoh has been built, nearly over 30 years that Bishan has been built, taken care of by PAP MPs non-stop, have we failed you? No! We will work hard as we have done in the past and deliver what we promised. I have a good team, as I say, all of them in the prime of their life, good experience, good with people, know how to get things done. They will be able to improve the town in your lives. So, we are asking humbly, we want to serve you for another 5 years, give us a chance, and for the rest of Singapore, vote in a strong PAP government that can make Singapore even better. Thank you, Josephine. Once again, a round of applause for the very candid speech to all you Bishan-Toa Payoh residents, and of course, the supporters of the PAP. Next up, I hope you keep this energy high. Our next speaker is a new candidate, Mr. Chee Hong Tat. He was formerly the second permanent secretary for Trade and Industry, and also principal private secretary to the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Hong Tat has been doing community work in Marine Parade since 2013, and he lives all among you guys. He has 4 children and lives with his family in Bishan. Mr. Chee, please.
Bishan-Toa Payoh 的选民，各位朋友、支持者，大家好。Bishan-Toa Payoh 过去几十年的发展，展现了 PAP 政府达年骨力，打造Bishan-Toa Payoh成为一个卫生巾的模范，是靠你人的支持，是你人造就了今日的Bishan-Toa Payoh。中国，我人需要你大力的支持。为民造福，为民服务，是我人的责任。一个好的政党，是要永远将选民的利益放在第一位。安家立业是我党对了的保证。Bishan-Toa Payoh会不断改善，会变得更加好，互大家人手好好生活。这两种就需要一个好的政府、好的政党，接落来听人民的心声，了解人民的生活的需要，才会使一步一步实现。一个负责任的政党，是爱关心人民，爱讲会出做会到，莫逐摆出一支嘴，讲到有理有好，有也无行动。我人PAP都无想，我人有做事好好做，我就叫人民行动党，有无？Bishan-Toa Payoh的选民。这不是用感情的时候，生活也要有起有落，因为世界大环境，每天都在变化。我人大致都有新的条件，但是唔免惊，我人PAP有足够的力量，甲你斗骹手，甲你做阵行落去。投票一致。请投PAP 一票，感谢。各位Bishan-Toa Payoh的选民，各位朋友、支持者，大家晚上好。我是徐邦达，我从2008年到2011年担任建国总理李光耀先生的首席私人秘书，跟李光耀先生做工，当然压力很大。可是也学到很多东西。那李先生对新加坡呢是非常非常的关注，他一直认为新加坡
一定要继续往前走，国人要继续努力，国家经济才能够强盛，政府才有足够的资源来帮助人民解决生活上的问题。所以我们有建国一代的卡，我们有水电费回扣、教育、住屋、医疗等等方面的津贴，这些其他政府是做不到的。各位选民、各位朋友，其他国家有些呢付不起，有些呢则向下一代借钱来还清这一代的花费和欠款，这不是我们新加坡人所要的。我们要让我们的孩子有更好的明天，有更好的将来，不是让他们来承担我们的包袱。所以 PAP 政府的想法跟你们是一致的，我们要为我们的将来，为我们的孩子的将来，打造一个更美好的生活。李先生也相信，新加坡呢就有如逆水行舟，不进则退。身为小国，我们的存亡要靠我们自己来拼搏，不可以掉以轻心。所以他无论做什么事呢，都是尽心尽力把事情做好，一直把政策改良。这也是我们 PAP 团队在碧山大巴窑的做法。我们给你们的承诺是，我们会不断的改善这个社区的基础设施，提供一个优良的居住环境，让大家受惠。同时呢，我们也希望和你们携手合作，建立一个有关怀心、有凝聚力的家园。你我同心，家园更温馨。你我协力，社区更美丽。所以我们一定要同心协力，把碧山大巴窑建立得更美好，让居民们过着更美好的生活。我相信大家都很清楚，哪一个政党才能够完成这个目标，哪一个政党才能够真正为您和家人服务。所以投票日那天，请投人民行动党一票。谢谢。Let me now say a few words in English. Now, after I left the civil service about a month ago, I spent most of my time walking around the constituencies to meet residents and to hear your feedback. I want to hear your feedback because these are important issues to you, and therefore they are important issues for me. I thank the residents for sharing your views with me, inviting me into your homes, and some of them even offered me drinks, me and my volunteers drinks. Thank you very much for that. If I'm elected, I see this as a very important part of my role, to help you to voice out your concerns in Parliament, in government, to shape policies. I also see it as my role to have regular interactions and dialogue with my residents, both HDB estates as well as private estates. And it's important because I need to understand what your concerns are, so I can speak for you and I can help you. Now, some other parties may claim that they can do these things, but as you know, easy to talk, huh? Not so easy to actually deliver. That's right. But I'm confident our residents know which party can deliver results for you. But we are not perfect. There are areas we need to improve. There are areas that we are open to feedback and suggestions, and we will do our best to continually improve so that we improve your lives. Now, I also see my role, if you elect me, as someone who should be here to help you to resolve your problems. Now, I started doing this when I was going around. The residents in Block 126, Toa Payoh Lorong 1, for example, told me that those who are staying at the lower floors, the bin center and the rubbish compressor, the smell is very strong when the truck comes to collect the garbage every day. So the main problem was actually with the compressor design. I spoke to NEA and I got their agreement to change the compressor to a better type. So they have changed it. I've also asked the town council to make sure they clean it properly, and we will continue to monitor the situation closely. Now, another example, residents from Lakeview, Thompson area. They told me that to improve road safety, they requested for a right turn green arrow when they turn out into the highway leading to Lonnie Road. So I followed up with LTA and I got it done. LTA say they will put it up by November this year. Thank you very much. There are some issues which require more time and I will look into them after GE. For example, Dr. Ng mentioned about childcare facilities. Now many young families gave me the same feedback. We will try our best to see how we can increase the number of childcare places for our residents. And for residents at the peak, those who are facing problems with the flooring, the developer, I will help you to collectively engage the developer to see what we can do to give you all a fair outcome. For our private estate residents, I will fight for your estates to be included for upgrading if it has not already been upgraded in recent years. And I will raise your concerns, including feedback from some uncles and aunties, they are retirees, they are staying in private estates, and they say, why are they automatically excluded from many government schemes and benefits? So I will look into this, I will raise your concerns. Now I cannot promise that every problem I can solve. That is not possible. But I will give you my commitment that I will do my best to help you. Now one last thing before I end is that I want to talk about how we can build a more caring community. How we can involve our residents, get their ideas, get their inputs, so that you can help us to shape this community to make it a better community for you. We may not have all the answers. We may have some blind spots. We may not be able to see all the problems. So I think it is in everybody's interest, the win-win arrangement, if we can work closely with our residents, engage you, consult you, and I hope you step forward as well and give us your feedback actively. I also hope that some of you can step forward and become community volunteers to help the less fortunate in our society, the elderly who are staying alone, children from low-income families, or there are certain social causes that you feel strongly about. Can be the environment, can be something that you feel strongly about, animals. I am prepared to work with different groups, whether through the PA channel or through other channel, as long as your objective is to improve this community and to do what is good for our residents. I am prepared to work with you. The PAP has been serving Bishan-Toa Payoh residents since this town was formed. And with your support, we can continue to serve you and your families and work with you to make this our best hope and a caring community. So please support us and vote for the PAP. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Siongkat. Last but not least, our final speaker for this evening is a new candidate, Mr. Chun Ki-hyong, who has been active at the grassroots level at Bishan East for the past 2 years. He has also served in the labor movement. He is married and a father of 4 boys. Mr. Chun, please.
Residents and friends of Bishan-Toa Payoh, very good evening. Thank you so much for being here tonight, standing here for 3 hours listening to us. My speech won't be long. Actually, it's bopian because time is running out. It has been a meaningful 8 days of campaigning. My team and I have worked hard to reach out to as many residents as we can. I would like to first thank all my volunteers. This is my first campaign. As you know, I've been in private sector for the last 25 years. And I would not have made it past these 2 weeks without your help. As I have said many times to you, my volunteers, before, it is all about people. I am fortunate to have your support, and I look forward to working with you for many more years to come.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. I grew up in a large family of 14, living in a small. Life was simple, but we had enough. Today, I am the Chief Executive Officer of OUE Hospitality REIT Management, and I returned with my family to live in Bishan East. It was people who made it possible for me to succeed. I received bursaries and scholarships from clan associations and private organizations. These kind people wanted to help others move up in life. The story of Singapore's success is the story of our people. Just as how others have helped me, I want to do the same for others. Thank you. Over the years, I have been involved in labor movement. I chaired NTU Seafood Fair, a social enterprise that aims to stabilize cooked food prices and improve the quality of life of our workers and their families. I also look after Orchid Country Club, which seeks to make social, recreational and golf services affordable to all workers. In the last 2 years, I started actively volunteering at Bishan East grassroots and community activities. This ranges from helping individuals through ComCare activities to organizing events. I found it immensely fulfilling. Over 4,000 residents attended our Pioneer Generation dinner last year. From the last 2 years' involvement, I believe even more strongly that it is important to proactively look out for those in need. They may not be getting the relevant assistance. We have to address their needs on a case-by-case basis because everyone's situation is different. The PAP government has introduced many social assistance schemes. However, there are still people who are unaware of these schemes, let alone where to get help. Recently, at the Meet the People session, we met an elderly lady. She came to appeal a matter regarding the Pioneer Generation package, but was unsuccessful. We did not stop there. Our volunteers found other ways to help her. For example, getting her a CHASE card, the Blue Community Health Assistance Scheme card, that allows her to go for medical appointment and treatment at much reduced prices. We found out later that her husband had passed away and she was living alone. She could not afford utilities. At night, she would keep the door of her flat open just to let in the light from the corridor. She is one tough lady. She refused help from the government or any one of us. In the end, we found ways to give her food, vouchers, and tickets to join us in community events. It's not about just keeping the stomach full. It's about engaging this resident and integrating her into the community again.
Because we care. We care.
Thank you. Yes, because we care. We help her to administer her husband's estate. A relative showed up one day and wanted to buy the flat. We advised her to consider carefully. So what does this case tell us? Every household faces different issues. This is the reality on the ground. Similarly, we have to be on the ground to help our residents figure things out. People ask me many times, I'm in the private sector, why am I involved in the labor movement, grassroots, and now politics? They ask if I have anything to gain. My reply is, if I can improve the living environment of the residents, if I can put a smile to one needy Singaporean, if I can speak up on your behalf on the issues that matter to you, I would have gained a sense of fulfillment that I will forever treasure. And I believe my team of volunteers share this vision and views with me. In the first 15 years of my life, I grew up in Kim Keat and Toa Payoh. I live in Bishan East for the last 10 years. I have seen and experienced the growth of Bishan-Toa Payoh as a place to live, work, and play. But PAP has more to offer. For Bishan East, we have completed 100% of lift upgrading. We have built new fitness corners for our residents. We will continue with more upgrading projects in Bishan East, including the residential areas of Clover, Binchang, Pemimpin, Insaf, and Berjaya. We have improved the footpaths, ramps, and drop-off points. We will refresh 35 blocks under the Neighborhood Renewal Program. And we will refresh another 29 blocks under the Home Improvement Program. In our future plan, we will also install lifts for all our multi-story car parks. Keeping our estate for residents of all ages to enjoy is an ongoing process. The residents' needs are constantly evolving. I commit to listening, communicating, and working with residents from all walks of life to meet your needs. Let me say a few words in Chinese. 第三大巴窑的居民和朋友，晚上好。新加坡独立50年，走过了风风雨雨。人民行动党在建国总理李光耀和他的团队领导下，以建国一代共创新加坡今日辉煌的繁荣和成就。他们坚持着任人唯贤、廉洁、多元种族、自力更生的价值观。至今，这仍然是人民行动党的指南针。我在国外曾定居2年，这15年我也常出差，到无数国家公干。除了新加坡以外，再也没有其他地方能让我的家人和孩子过安定的生活，追求自己的梦想。过去2年，我加入碧山东区基层组织，主办和参加了不少基层活动。为居民服务是有意义的，关怀居民也不是一朝一夕的事，这是一个长期的承诺。我们必须更深一层了解居民的需求，给予适当的协助。如果能得到选民的肯定，上任议员职位，我觉得居民做得更多。在此，谢谢。在此，我也想表达对王根成先生的谢意，非常感谢王先生这2年来的教导与鼓励。能够继承黄先生在碧山东区的重任，是我的荣幸。I have been involved in community work, social enterprises, and business. I hope to bring the same empathy and focus on sustainable solutions to address the needs of our residents and our estate. I look forward to representing you in Parliament and working with you to improve our estate, our home that is Bishan-Toa PAYOH. I am Chun of the People's Action Party, and I seek your vote. Let us work with you, for you, and for Singapore. Vote for PAP! Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. 非常精彩的演说。Dear friends, you have now heard all 8 speakers, but the best part is not over yet. Okay? As Singaporeans, we cheer 50 years of peace and prosperity. So let PAP and you move forward together. 所有的朋友，所有的支持者，接下来这个小环节，希望大家可以跟我们一起的参与。
Para penduduk Bishan-Toa PAYOH, kita telah mendengar 8 ucapan. Kita masih belum habis lagi, masih ada lagi. Sebagai rakyat Singapura, kita bergembira dengan SG50. Kita akan menyambutnya bersama sepanjang tahun. Dan marilah kita bersama PAP maju ke hadapan. Saya menjemput Dr. Eng Heng untuk memberikan ucapan terima kasih.
Dr. Eng Heng, please lead us in another cheer for Singapore, for the People's Action Party.
Majulah Singapura. Majulah PAP.
Majulah PAP.
Majulah Singapura.
Majulah Singapura.
谢谢大家，晚上好。
Thank you everyone for coming. And of course, this signals the end of tonight's rally. We thank you on behalf of the team and of course the PAP. Give your loudest cheer once again to the team that's going to lead you forward.
Terima kasih kepada semua telah sudi datang kepada rapat umum PAP di Toa PAYOH. Thank you very much everyone and good night.
谢谢所有的选民以及支持者，今晚的集会就到这里，谢谢大家。
Yes, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you everybody.
Yeah, sure. Miss just. Hi.
Dear friends,
Hi. Is it okay if we ask you some questions very fast? Yeah, sure. We should go. Okay, later we ask. Covering your bag. Wait, is he telling us to do anything? Go up. Let's go.
Okay, I think right, you go up first, you grab this thing, because I cannot be walking with this thing later, shitty.
Oh, we wait for them to come back. Ah! No, wait. I'm good. Yeah, just put it on first.
Okay.
It's okay one.
You must stay in the chair lah. You stand in the chair. You stand in the chair.
Should we talk to the other people? Hi. We're from Happy TV.
Yes,
Hi, we're from Happy TV. Is it okay to ask you some questions?
For the rally speech.
What? Just one question. All right. No worries. Yeah. Okay.
You go ask first, then I come. Bye-bye.
Then before you came.
Yeah, just very simple. Like, do you think that there's a new? Do you think there's a new breed of PAP leaders right now? Do you think that they'll be able to do a good job in handling the opposition or the policies that are going to be made? Do you think?
Because they have good mentors and Dr. Ng already said that Singapore will be better. What?
Yeah, so how do you feel about the Pioneer Package, for example?
Pioneer Package? I think I'm around that age, so I'm definitely for it, and I'll look forward for it. So I vote for PAP. I will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. Wait police. YouTube channel. Yes, happy TV. Not study.
Can we ask you some questions? Very fast one. No? No worries.
This family or what? Behind. Left. Family. Yeah.
Okay, so just want to ask you some questions. What do you think about the opposition's performance so far?
Well, it has been very interesting. However, I think we all know what they are really trying to achieve, and we know what we want. So I think to a certain extent, what I'm trying to say is we know what they are trying to do, but we also do know what we want. So.
Yeah, so do you know there's this whole new theme the PAP has for even the Bishan-Toa PAYOH GRC. Do you think that they are able to continue the legacy of Lee Kuan Yew?
The
legacy of Lee Kuan Yew, Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew.
I'm actually quite supportive of Ms. Josephine. I've seen her a lot, and I think she is a doer. She walks the talk. So I believe so. I'm sure the rest are just as good, but we have more interaction with Mrs. Josephine Teo, and she has done a great job so far.
Okay, thank you.
Have a nice day. At least you try. You take Papa away. I have to take Papa away.
We give it up. I think okay.
You make sure he gets the letter, ah.
Yeah, don't worry.
One more only, right?
Ready?
Of course, just texting.
That's the one.
Okay, alright. One letter before it.
Really go.
Right, of course. Scary, Actually, but is it okay we ask? No. Hi. Hi, Malaysia. Yeah, I was in the front of now. We are from a YouTube channel. We are called Happy TV. We're doing a live. We're doing a live streaming. Yeah. Yeah.
I was wondering which channel is it?
Yeah.
You must have come much earlier to prepare for this.
Yeah.
You can put pictures in the center.
Yeah.
But
I can't zoom for this app. No, it's just an one time.
What? You asked me about what I just said?
No, it's just maybe like probably just want to ask about how do you think about it. Are they able to continue?
Yes, of course.
Right, okay, so we just got to say that and then it will be great and then we can end for the day. Alright, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so hi Mr. Wong Han Seng, just want to ask you, do you think that the new breed of PAP leaders are able to continue Lee Kuan Yew's, Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew's legacy on their own merit?
Yes, I certainly am very confident that they can, because we have a good system and we have a strong foundation, and we have people who serve with a heart, and more importantly is that they have the commitment and the character to do so. So I think we have a good team if people give them their votes and vote them in on the September the 11th.
Thiệt à.
What one for 100,000 also can.
Can I have one?
Yeah, sure. Why you keep helping a company? That's all you do. What year are you in now? Teaching them. Oh, you're teaching them. So you finished already. How do you finish?